Oh dear. Hello, Lucy. I'm live now. I've just realized I've been talking away.
Okay,
sorry, guys. Talking away there, thinking I was live and I wasn't. So, Lucy, thanks for letting me know again. Lots of love. See you soon.
Okay, you're welcome.
Thank you. Goodness gracious. Welcome, everybody. I thought I was live 5 minutes ago. And thank goodness for Lucy, because once again, she just called me and said, I can't see you. So welcome, a very, very warm welcome from all the teddies to you, my beautiful soul family. Thank you for joining me here today. Thank you, Lucy, for being here, my wonderful Lucy, my assistant. She's amazing. Thank you, Lucy. Thank you, April, for being here, for joining in the moderating. Appreciate your help. I think Drew may be joining too. And thank you. So many of you poured your hearts out to me after my last video where I bared my soul, so to speak, and shared everything that was happening and was going on. And so many of you reached out with offers of treatments, of sessions, of somewhere to be, of kind messages and notes and loving thoughts and ideas, and just thank you, thank you. The lovely Amanda Ellis mentioned me as well in her video. You might want to check her out. She brings in Archangel Metatron, among many other things. And just a big, big, big thank you. Now, Eckhart and Rochelle, whilst we haven't spoken, there was a nice text. So I have to say, I feel as though there is some healing there, and I'm very grateful for that. And I hope that you're doing really well, Eckhart and Rochelle and Bonnie, wherever you are at this moment. So March is a big month. And I think it's important to remember to do things in twos. Let me tell you why. We have a lot of the dual signs at play. Mars on the 3rd of March goes into Gemini. Gemini, the twins, 2. Now, Mars was for many months in Aries last year, was retrograde. It's been in Taurus, a slow sign for Mars. Mars doesn't particularly like being in Taurus. Yes, it's a bit like driving a car with the brakes on. Doesn't like that. But now Mars goes into Gemini, where it's free to go in different directions. The challenge with Mars in Gemini is that Mars likes to go in one direction very clearly. Now, Mars in Gemini may have you saying, shall I go here or shall I go here? And you might find yourself oscillating between 2 different options, maybe 2 different people, 2 different situations, or more than 2. Now, I've called this video, Every Breath You Take. And I think some of you may recognize that title as being a very popular song by the Police. And the reason I've called this video that title is because every breath you take, every move you make, everything you think, everything you do now makes a huge difference, more than ever. Here in New Zealand, in Auckland, we're back in lockdown. It happened very late Sunday night. All of a sudden, whoosh, Auckland went into level 3 lockdown, which means that other than supermarkets and food shops, everything's shut down. And what's going on now is that it seems, this is the results of information that's coming through, that a person did not follow the rules and went out when he was sick and should have been isolating, and now has potentially spread COVID into the community. So one person's actions has now affected 5 million people and has cost businesses in Auckland apparently around $500 million just for this week. So every move you make, everything you do has to become conscious. This is a time for, and Mars in Gemini, I feel Mars, where you put your energy, Gemini, your thinking, your communication, how you speak, how you think, how you express yourself. This is really going to become super important. Now, I think that one of the challenges that we have this month is that we're dealing with a lot more duality. So we've got Mars in Gemini, and Gemini leads all the other planets. Mars is ahead of the rest. So we've got Uranus in Taurus, the next one along. Then we've got the Aquarian planets, then Pluto in Capricorn. Yes, we've got all the planets quite close together in these different signs, but Mars in Gemini leads the pack. So where are you going? And do you know why you're going where you're going? So it's a good time to question what you're doing. I'm sure you can imagine I've been doing that greatly. Like, you know, was this a mistake, in inverted commas, to come to New Zealand? I've moved 7 times now, and we'll certainly have to move at least one more time in the last, in 4 months of being here. You might be questioning your movements, questioning what have I done and why am I doing what I'm doing? And you might not know, but it's a good time to keep asking yourself. Now, this Mars in Gemini is resonating with the North Node in Gemini. And the North Node is our collective. What we all want, what we want together, what we want to create together. And I think it's very interesting that Jacinda Ardern, you may love her, you may hate her, I'm not getting into the politics, but when she gets on the radio, she calls us Team 5 million. We're a team. In this country, if we can work as a team together with kindness, because right now there's a lot of recriminations going on, a lot of people very frustrated, very angry that we are in lockdown, possibly unnecessarily, through somebody not listening to the advice that was given. And now the government are being questioned, well, are the police going to prosecute? So how do we manage the anger, the frustrations that I imagine many of you are feeling in the lockdowns that you are going through? And how do we manage that frustration? And at the same time, how can we still maintain the kindness to one another? Because the minute we start being angry and nasty to one another, you start to get retaliation. You start to get people not wanting to come forward, not wanting to be tested, all these things. So it's, we're looking at how can we be considerate of one another, and that everything you do makes more of a difference than you may realize. So 3rd of March, that is the trigger point of a more fluid energy. The energy has been quite stuck. Now you may find yourself with more options. Oh, hadn't thought of that. Oh, let's try that. Let's try something different. I couldn't get the lid. They've got some big bottles of water here. Couldn't get the lid off the bottle this morning. And there's really nobody to ask here, because right now I'm staying in a gorgeous place, and it's out in the countryside in Puhoi. It's beautiful. I just couldn't get that lid off. And so I had to just, find an alternative way and get into the bottle using a knife. So you may find yourself coming up with different ways of doing things that look as though they were impossible. And you just have to sort of be fluid. If the left hand doesn't work, try the right hand, because Gemini rules the two sides. Yes, so very often I try using my other side, especially with writing. I often find I get solutions to issues when I'm writing with my non-dominant hand. So we're looking this month particularly at duality, Mars in Gemini. On the 13th of the month, we get a glorious new moon in Pisces. And on the 27th, 28th of the month, we've got a full moon in Libra. These are all dual signs. Gemini, the twins, Pisces, the fish, two fish going in opposite directions, and Libra, the scales, the two scales. So we're going to be dealing with, I feel, extremes. And you may find yourself going to extremes. One day you may be in one camp, and the other day you may get another bit of information. You may change and you may say, no, that doesn't feel right anymore. We're going to see more extremes, of course, playing out globally. We're seeing the extremes of the billionaires becoming almost trillionaires. Russell Brand was saying on one of his latest videos that Jeff Bezos, CEO of Amazon, just in these last few months, has made so many more billions that if he would have paid every single Amazon employee over $100,000 bonus, he would still be better off than he was a few months ago. So we're getting these extremes of people with extreme wealth, and are they being held to account as to where that money's going? And people with extreme poverty and extreme need. So we're dealing with this polarity, this pulling energy. And there's this space race. It's like things are sort of out of proportion. Would you agree? Out of proportion. We've got billionaires racing into space, off to Mars, and a space race here, and going off to space. And I'm kind of looking and going, well, how about our beautiful planet Earth? How about where we are right now? I'm not saying that space travel is wrong or that it shouldn't happen, but maybe we have to set priorities, and balance has to be a part of the energy. So we're dealing with a lot of pulling energy. You may find yourself pulled in one direction. I would love, love, love to be in England for my dear auntie's 99th birthday, which is coming up next month. But it doesn't look as though that's going to be at all possible. So that is a pull. I would love, love, love to have a stable living situation here in New Zealand. That's not shown up. And now with the lockdown, I had all these appointments to go and see various properties this week, but now with the lockdown, it's all off. So I'm thankful I've got an Airbnb for just over another week, which is wonderful. And after that, I'm having to trust. And above all, this month, March, because of the new moon in Pisces on the 13th of March, this month has to do with finding your faith, finding your trust. This 13th of March new moon brings some hope into the horizon. We've got Sun and Moon, of course, together in Pisces, but we've also got Venus and Neptune together in Pisces. Venus, the lower octave of love, Neptune, the higher octave of love and compassion, and the ruler of Pisces. So I think we're going to see waves of compassion, waves of reaching out to one another, waves of helping one another through these difficult times. So this new moon in Pisces on the 13th of March, and we're building up to it, the Piscean energy is a very soft and sensitive energy. It's an energy that really brings out the heart, the romance, the love. And I've got a beautiful quote here from Oscar Wilde, because it's such a romantic new moon here. The very essence of romance is uncertainty. And it's true. Romance is that surprise dinner, that surprise encounter, that surprise whoosh of butterflies when you think or see the person. So can we bring more romance into our world? It's a very creative time. I promise I'll do some more paintings, yeah? I'd love to play the piano, I'd love to get a violin, but none of that right now possible. But listening to music is possible. So I'm enjoying listening to various Beethoven symphonies and things that are very inspiring. What inspires you? This energy of water. We've got a lot of water energy. So softness, kindness. Now, it's a very miraculous healing energy. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you for your love and your support. Thank you. So it's an opportunity really to think about, what is your dream? What are your dreams, your visions for yourself and for humanity now? Nothing is done in isolation anymore. We're going to feel that connectedness more than ever. The flip side of the, if you like, the fish going in the other direction is that you could be misled. You may find yourself in fantasy land, in la la land, and not living reality. So you may need to pinch yourself and say, is this real? Am I just floating off? And am I not grounded? So these are going to be things that are coming up, but potentially it's magical energy. Thank you, drops of Jupiter. So we're working with Venus in Pisces. Is so happy in Pisces. Yes, it's exalted in Pisces. So this is really about looking for love everywhere. I get love from the lovely dog called Paw Paw. She's she's an outdoor dog, so she won't come in. She's very well behaved. Half, I think, border collie and half dingo. So she's marvelous. She eats everything. Any scrap, anything at all, she will eat it. She's a very happy dog, comes walking. And so there's so much beauty there. There's beauty in the animals. Beauty in the trees. It's a great time for exploring your creativity. I love this quote from Winnie the Pooh. Weeds are flowers too, once you get to know them. So every one of us is a flower, has a potential to flower. And this new moon in Pisces is an injection of hope and possibility. Then, very significantly, we move to the 20th of March, this month, which is when the sun goes into Aries. And Aries is new beginnings. So you may find yourself in some ways releasing, letting go with the new moon in Pisces. And then a week later, the sun into Aries. And 0 degrees Aries is the most powerful point in the zodiac because it is the point of ignition, the point of ready, steady, go. Yes. So on the 21st, Venus goes into Aries as well. That's more momentum. So you'll find as the month goes on, the momentum increases. You get more traction. So we're still working strongly with this Saturn. Thank you, Diane. I appreciate that. And thank you for liking the video. I greatly appreciate it if you like the video. Lucy and April are constantly encouraging you to do that. The more of you that like the video, the more that we can be together in this soul family and support one another. Because when we come together, there's an energy field that is created that can help you through your difficult moments. Because we're having to learn to keep changing, to keep being adaptable. I hate having to keep moving. And this seems to be what's on the agenda. So maybe I need to start liking it. Again, the duality again. How can I make this great? How can this be wonderful? I'm meeting new wonderful people. People I'm staying with are absolutely beautiful people. Welcoming, kind. First thing she did was give me some fresh fish. They'd been off fishing the week before, and she gave me a load of fresh fish and some potatoes out of the garden. Kindness, generosity. So keeping letting go and keeping moving on, and letting go and moving on. Patricia, your pig and piglets ran laughing around your house. Love that. So we're dealing still strongly all year because this is the theme of the year. Thank you, Erica. I appreciate that. Thank you. With this Saturn-Uranus energy. And it's inside of us personally and externally as well. So Saturn has to do with the rolling out of the vaccine, the structures, the conforming to what is being asked on the global level. Certainly in many countries, this is what's happening. And Uranus is the freedom that that vaccine may give as a result of conforming and doing something that you may not want to do. I'm not getting into the discussion of the pros and the cons of the vaccine. I'm staying out of that, but I'm just saying sometimes following a certain rule or a certain law gives you freedom. So we're dealing with conformity and authenticity. We're dealing with Saturn, which has everything to do with being mature, being adult. And Uranus, which has to do with growing out of something that's holding you back. Thank you, Wood Thrush. I appreciate you asking for friends to like the video to get up to 500. Thank you. Saturn, we're dealing with practical structures and the pull of idealism and breaking out of certain structures. We're dealing with authorities and governments. We're dealing with rebellion, potentially. Saturn likes to make the rules, and Uranus likes to break the rules. So we're dealing with this pull between which rules do I need to abide by, and which rules do I need to question? Which rules might not be for the highest good and for the best, highest of all. So because we're moving Mars into Gemini, we've got to really, really think, get more information, learn, study. Yeah, I think we're going to find many new healing techniques and therapies that will be drugless. Many, many, many more coming to the fore. So there's some really positive things coming here out of all of this. We're going to have to still look at, because Saturn and Uranus, it's like this energy of control and freedom. And in that, people's anger comes up. Yeah, there's a lot of irritation and anger right now in Auckland of people, people's businesses maybe going down under just because of people not obeying these rules. Thank you, Julia. So we've got it's a fine balance, and with all these dual signs, with Pisces, with Libra, with Gemini, we've got to try to put yourself in the other person's shoes, to see the other perspective. Oh, not easy. Not at all easy. Especially if you're activated. But it's important, because I learned so much by the anger took me over, and I created negative karma from the anger that took me over in the last couple of weeks, to now, because of that pain and suffering I experienced, to become even more vigilant about not creating more negative karma for myself and for other people. So the anger can be very positive if it's used in a constructive way. But if it takes you over and you become possessed by it, as Eckhart would say, you're not going to create anything positive from it. So when I first arrived here a couple of days ago, in this glorious place in the countryside in Puhoi, my lovely hosts informed me that they were going to be digging up their garden with bulldozers and all sorts, not a quiet thing. And here was I with my expectations. It's going to be so peaceful here and so quiet. And for many hours, it was really quite noisy. And I thought, hey, now wait here before you get irritated, Bracha, before you get into that, because I could feel those similar emotions coming up. What are you going to do this time? So when they'd stopped, I waited, I did other things. Couldn't go out because of the lockdown. I said, let's have a meeting. And we just talked it through. And we found solutions to do it at different times. And it's really, really taking the fuse off it. Yeah, I want them to get the work done. It's important for them. But they also want me to be able to work and to do what I need to do. So it's turned out to be a balancing act, again, this dual energy. And I think that's going to be one of the big challenges of this month. But this month promises such a great deal of hope, of possibility, of newness, of freshness, and actually really being able to tangibly feel that deep connection between us. I've got to give a shout out for lovely, lovely Lynn Marie and Alan, who kindly have been so kind to me. They've taken some of my suitcases and they're storing them in their garage. They don't have very much space. So thank you for doing that. Thank you to Josephine. I don't know if Josephine even watches my videos, but she's taken a few boxes and bits and pieces that I was going to give to charity. And she said, no, you'll need them. Let me store them for you. So thank you to Denise, who reached out and offered me to share her home with her, and really, really grateful for that offer, dear Denise. And it's just, I hope you understand, as I said to you, that I just need some space to get my boat upwards, and just needing that for right now. But just very grateful to so many of you who have reached out with that kindness, and I'm going to encourage you to do that. And you can do it mentally. I find myself doing it mentally. Shauna, thank you. Just bringing somebody's face to mind and just sending them a big e-hug, sending them some love. Just each person that you can bring to mind. And also bring to mind this soul family. The people here that are for you, that want to grow, that want to come together, that want to create a world that is filled with love, that is filled with kindness and gentleness and respect. So these are all the things that we're working with. And I just love this quote, because I think this is a very Piscean quote for this new moon in Pisces. By Winnie the Pooh. You know I love Winnie the Pooh. A friend is someone who helps you up when you're down. And if they can't, they lay down beside you and listen. So it's a time to listen. It's a time to be generous. It's a time to open up your heart and your arms, Gemini, Mars in Gemini. And to do your best to use this duality energy. Thank you very much, AK, I appreciate that. To use this duality to enable you to see another perspective. Yeah, just to see that something that may seem so alien to you, to be able to see it differently. We don't know, for example, whether this person, because it's in South Auckland, this is a very, should we say, more of a deprived community, certain areas of it. It's multicultural, there are many different languages there. And maybe the importance of the rules was not communicated in enough different languages for the people to really understand the importance of following certain regulations. So we need to maybe translate things for one another. When I think of Mars in Gemini, I think of translating something. So if it doesn't work one way, try another way. If somebody doesn't hear something this way, try another way. That's actually what I did with Eckhart and Rochelle, because it was so painful. I tried calling them. I left a text. I left an email. And then I did another email. And then I said something on a live stream. Yeah, I tried different ways because I so valued that relationship and them and their kindness and their love. So try different ways. You know, if somebody's not talking to you or something, try a different tack. In the Talmud, in the Jewish religion, for example, or the Kabbalah, they say that you should, if you know you've done something that has hurt another person, that you would ask for forgiveness 3 times in different ways. If after 3 times the forgiveness has not been granted, then you're free to move on. But that you persist, you keep trying different things. Yes, so Nand, you're saying in Sweden, it's baffling to see a country of 5 million closed for 1 case, and you've reached herd immunity by 40% antibodies the natural way. I don't know what's right, I don't know what's wrong here. Darcy, thank you, appreciate that. And again, I don't want to get into the politics of it, but just so you can see another possible side here. Thank you, Andrea. The other thing is, from the perspective of New Zealand, we do not want to have the health systems completely overwhelmed. And I think what the government is planning to do here is to begin the vaccination program. And apparently, and again, I maybe shouldn't speak about this, but all right, apparently studies are showing that with the vaccine, you are much less likely to end up as a severe case on a ventilator in a hospital, thereby causing great pressure on the health system and causing potentially other lives to be lost. So this would just be another perspective, neither right nor wrong necessarily. We might not know, even years away, as to what was right or wrong. But again, you may not agree with what's happening, but it's this opening up of seeing other possibilities. Not agreeing necessarily, but being able to see something else. That's all. I feel I have to be very circumspect about how I express this, because sometimes there's a lot of hate comments come afterwards, and please don't share the hate comments. This again is the anger overtaking and not coming out in a way that is productive. It's the unconsciousness. Eckhart, my wonderful Eckhart, talks about this unconsciousness. It's got to be an unconscious energy that created the Holocaust and all the deaths and massacres. More men and women have been killed by people than any disaster of nature. Any earth disaster has not caused more deaths than we have with fighting one another. So this is the awakening here. Are we going to awaken to our divisiveness, the duality, here and, separate? Or are we going to see that we are connected, even if we disagree, that we're all connected? No matter what color we are, whether a turquoise teddy or a gray teddy or a brown teddy, doesn't matter what color you are. And it's important to honor your culture, your ancestors, your traditions, where you've come from. There's a richness in that. Great richness. And don't let your suffering of your ancestors go to waste, as Eckhart would say. Decide that you are going to be the one that will become conscious in this lifetime. So I'm going to finish up with this, for me, which I think is a really pertinent song here, which is the song by the Police. I don't know if YouTube will allow it or not. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But thank you, Lucy. Thank you, April. Thank you, Drew, if you were here. Thank you for those who have contributed. Dear, dear soul family, thank you for liking. I'm wishing you hope. I'm wishing you a new vision and the feeling that what you do, every single breath you take, matters and makes a difference.